we go. All right, in this video, we're going to take a high-level look at the contents of the playlist in Propresenter. So let me switch over to Propresenter. This is I'll give a 30 seconds overview of the interface that we're looking at in Propresenter. So in the top left here, we have all of our libraries where we store our presentations. Below the library are all of the playlists. Each one of these playlists represents a different week in our service. Below that is the contents of the playlist. So if I have a library selected, this area here will show me the contents of the library. If I have a playlist selected, this is, for example, the playlist for tomorrow's service. If I have the playlist selected, then this area shows me the contents of that playlist. Every item in this playlist is a different presentation. Think of it like a different PowerPoint file. Their presentations can be different and a little bit more complex than PowerPoint files, but the concept is still the same. Each one of these lines represents a different presentation. And this area here shows the different slides in the presentation. This area over here shows what would be shown to the stream and to the house. So this is a little preview. So if I select a slide, let's say one of the slides in our announcements, in service announcements, you see that the same picture goes out to the stream and to the house. However, if I were to select a slide in one of our hymns, for example, it's not necessarily the same slide that goes out to our stream and our house. So in this case, the stream shows a lower third title for our hymn, and the house shows this title. And when we scroll through we select the next slide, it'll show the lyrics on both slides, but the lyrics are formatted here to overlay on the camera, and the lyrics are formatted here to show on the projector with a moving video behind it to make it a little bit more interesting. And finally, over here you have the area where you can control any of the media. So you can control videos and such in this area. So having given that a quick overview, the next thing I want to do is give an overview of what the Sunday service playlist consists of. So if you go through this is the entire Sunday service playlist from beginning to end. It essentially goes from top to bottom. And as I select a presentation here, that presentation will be shown at the top of this middle area here. So for example, if I select pre-service announcements first slide, this is the first slide of the pre-service announcements. This is what the slide that sort of formats everything, and these slides here are what the actual pre-service announcement slides are what gets shown during the announcements. So this pre-service announcement slide is designed to advance every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, it'll choose a new slide and it'll loop. And this is what we're showing before the stream every Sunday, starting around 9:15. At around 9:30, we begin with welcome and announcements, and you'll see here the pastor's title slide. This slide essentially announces who the pastor is. If you look at the contents of that slide, it basically brings up the pastor's title here. After about 5 seconds, the pastor's title goes away. We can go on with the service. The next are opening slide. This basically tells us what service we're in. In this case, it's the fifth Sunday after Epiphany. Moving through the service, and you'll notice as we move through the service here, we're also moving through all of these presentations. So the next presentation is announcements in service. These get changed every week, and you'll notice that things that get changed every week, there are a few, and the things that get changed every week usually either have a date associated with them, or there'll be a hymn, or there'll be a scripture. And we'll talk about how to create the announcements, the hymns, and the scriptures in our next video or two. So I just wanted to sort of, this is the layout for our entire service. Goes through in-service announcements, and then there's the prayer section and a scripture section where we talk about we show scripture. There's a children's moment, usually a video here, a sermon for the video. Then there's the sermon, the closing hymn, and sometimes there's communion and sometimes not. Tomorrow's service will contain a communion. and this communion presentation is here, and you just basically pull this presentation into the playlist when there's a communion. I hope that gives you a high-level overview of the contents of the service. And the next video, we're going to talk about how to take this this playlist service here and create a duplicate of it so that we can begin working on the next service.